Hello everyone, my name is Amari and I'm the Event and Film Fest Coordinator for the Kent State University Independent Film Organization. I'm a Kent State student majoring in music technology, and today I'll be demonstrating how to put music to a film. If you have any questions, I'll be answering them in the live chat, so please ask away down below. Thank you for coming, and let's get into it. All right, so before I really get deep into how you put music to a film, I want to explain to you guys what I actually use. So, the first thing that you need is a computer. I use the Dell computer that's listed on the screen. Um, it costs over $1,000, which is pretty expensive, but I'm telling you, it's well worth it. Especially starting out as a college student. I mean, it may sound expensive, but once you get into the professional world, the computers get even higher in price. If you really just want to start out doing film scoring now, I would suggest getting this computer, or if not this computer, you can get other computers that have 32 gigabytes. Um, it's just a really good computer to use, I would say. So I would suggest this computer, but you can use any computer that you would like. So next is the Akai Professional MPK MIDI. This is the MIDI controller that I use. A MIDI controller is just a way to send or input information into your computer. So in this case, I'm using a MIDI controller to input the notes that I want to be played on my software. So the MIDI controller looks very similar to a piano keyboard. I just play the notes on the piano like how I would, just a regular piano, and the notes just appear onto my computer, and it's really that simple. This is a great tool to use because if you don't use it, you have to manually put in the notes, and it's a very tedious process. So I would suggest this for sure. All right, so I use 4 softwares to create the music that you hear for film. So the first software that I use is Sibelius. Next, I use Pro Tools. In Pro Tools, I use East West Composer Cloud. And finally, I used Movie Studio 17 Platinum. So I'm going to explain these softwares thoroughly next. So Sibelius is a composing software. This is where you can notate your music. So if you want to make music for orchestra, you can do that easily with Sibelius. If you want to make music for your guitar, drums, anything, you can use Sibelius. It's very user friendly. I would suggest learning music theory to really accurately make music using the software. But honestly, you really don't have to know music theory to make good music. It's not really extremely necessary, but I would highly suggest it just because, a lot of people use it in the music industry and it's been proven to be successful. So I would suggest learning music theory so you can make music accurately every single time. So the price of Sibelius with the education discount is $9.99 per month or $99 per year. I prefer the $99 per year, but whatever you prefer is up to you. All right, so next I use Pro Tools. Pro Tools is a digital audio workstation. Um, this is very similar to other digital audio workstations like Ableton, Logic, GarageBand. It's very similar, but it's way more complex than those. Um, I would suggest if you do get Pro Tools to really, really, really thoroughly analyze and practice using the software. It's very complicated, but even though it's complicated, you can do so much with it. It's absolutely incredible. If you want to record, birds outside, you can use Pro Tools to edit your audio recording. If you want to have, say, for example, what we're using it, how I'm using it today, which is to make music for a film. You can do that. If you want to just make music in general, maybe not for a film, you can use it for that. If you want to make, um, if you want to use audio for a movie, you can use I mean, the limits are endless. Pretty much anything that incorporates audio, you can use Pro Tools to edit it and do whatever you want with it. So the education discount is the same as Tibelius. It's $9.99 per month or $99 per year. Whatever works for your budget, do what works for you. Okay, so the next software that I use is Composer Cloud. So Composer Cloud is what I use on Pro Tools. This allows me to have very high quality sounding instruments. I do not have an orchestra. I do not have my own personal orchestra, so I cannot make, a it's very difficult to make it's very difficult to have good quality sounding music without having the live orchestra. So Composer Cloud kind of replaces that. It makes it to where rather than me having to hire an orchestra every single time I make a song, I can just use Composer Cloud. I mean, these sounds ridiculously sound good, like almost close to the real thing. I mean, it's absolutely amazing. You can use it for orchestra sounds, vocals. I mean, the when I say the vocals sound amazing, you don't hear it. They sound so realistic. Because with this plugin, it's not just like, for example, with Sibelius, when you write a note down, it's like like. But with this, like it can do riffs, runs, like it's it can do so much, and I highly suggest it. And it's only 19.99 per month, and so it's very affordable. It's well worth the price if you do not have an orchestra, vocalists or anything like that. I would highly suggest this. It's absolutely amazing to use. Yeah, please, I would say use it. Like if you're starting out with film scoring, this is great to use. It'll really give you an idea of how it would sound if you were to give your music to professionals. It's very useful. Highly suggest. I can't say it enough. I would suggest this to anyone starting out. It's absolutely incredible. Okay, last but not least, I use Movie Studio 17 Platinum, which is a video software to basically put everything that I, have together. So, the example that I'm going to show you today, the video is You Got This. I have a film scoring company, and this was one of the projects that we did. I highly suggest using this software. This is also the software I'm using right now to make the video that you see today. And it's very easy to use. It's very user friendly. And with this one, rather than paying per month, per year, you don't even have to worry about that. It's just a one-time payment, which is $75. So I would highly suggest it. It's very affordable. It's great to use. Highly suggest it. So now we can finally get into the example that I'm going to show you today, which, like I said earlier, it's from my You Got This project. A very short film, is only about a minute 35 seconds, but I'm going to show you how I created the music, how I pretty much did everything for the video. So let's get into it. Have you ever had a goal but was trapped in your thoughts and was too afraid to do it? I'm here to tell you that you got this. Here's an athlete who's preparing for a race. Before she runs, she stretches and gets ready to put all of her training to use. The same way an athlete prepares for a race, It's the same way you should prepare for a goal. No matter if your goal is to get an A on a test or to become a successful music producer, you have to prepare for what's in store. You have to practice and plan ahead. Form your technique and master your skills. It may get frustrating at times, but I promise you, you have what it takes. Push through the adversity and the hardships. So when you get in your stance to run the race, you'll be ready. Now it's your time to run and go finish that race. Run with all of your might. Don't look back. You got this. The only person that can stop you is yourself. Finish the race strong. So this is Sibelius. Like I said before, I use this for a year now. It's a great software to use to make your scores for your music projects. I highly recommend this. So here's the entire song that I made. I made it in F minor for all of the music nerds out there who wants to know. Um, if as you can see, the video is attached to the score, so I can see exactly how I want to align the music to the video. So how I put the instruments onto Sibelius is I hit add or remove under home, and I select the instrument. I selected drum set, piano, violin, viola, cello, and the bass for my song. I thought those would go really well with the dramatic element that I have for this piece. This is a very more of an inspirational video, so I felt like they would work. So as you can see, I go under notation, and then I select the time signature, which I want to do 4/4, and then I selected the key, which like I said is F minor, and then at that point I pretty much go from there, add the notes to whatever I want. Now with this I did not edit any dynamics or anything because I prefer doing it on Pro Tools, just because with Pro Tools I can kind of um hear how the instruments sound and how I want the dynamics to go. Now if you want this for actual musicians to play it for you, I recommend doing the dynamics or any other details so the musician knows exactly what you want to be played. So right now I'm going to play the song for you guys. This is going to be through the Sibelius audio, which is not that great, and you'll kind of understand once you hear it why I go into Pro Tools and change the instrument sounds, because Sibelius is not that great when it comes to the sounds. I mean, it's not really meant for that. It's meant for strictly making the score. So, yeah, so here's the song. For me to actually have the video and the music align with each other, I go to play at the top of the screen and I hit typically says add video. And once you add it, it'll show you these options. There's half size, then there's full size, then there's double size, and then there's the full screen. And then you can just hit the escape key on your computer once if you want to exit out of it. So that's how I get it exactly aligned with the music. So when I hit start, the video plays and the music that I put onto the score goes along with it. So this is how I get it accurately in sync with the video. So it isn't all it isn't off and it's perfectly aligned with it. And that's one of my favorite parts about this, to where I can, you know, align the music without basically having to guess after the fact. So this is very convenient. I love this feature on Sibelius. It's great to use. So yeah, so that's pretty much it regards to Sibelius doing the song. So once I finish that, I go to File, then I hit the export key, and then I go to MIDI. Now, you're probably wondering why do MIDI? Well, I export the MIDI so the DAW can interpret my score and it can play it properly. So yeah, it even says at the top, like, export a MIDI file of this score suitable for importing into other music programs such as sequencers or DAWs. And this is really good to use, especially with Pro Tools, because both Sibelius and Pro Tools are run by the same company, so their features kind of align with each other. So I would highly recommend it. And yeah, so I exported to MIDI so it could be easy to use on Pro Tools. Alright, so as you can see on Pro Tools here, I have all of the MIDI tracks imported already. And also, if you notice, I added a few tracks as well. So I'm just going to show you a little quick tutorial on how I import the MIDI. So I go to File, then I hit Import, then I hit MIDI. So I'm just going to hit a random project called 101. I don't remember what I did it for, but I'm just going to use this. So yeah, so I have the drum set, violin, viola, cello, and bass. I'm not going to do all of the tracks just because that'll take up a lot of my time. So I'm just going to delete some of these tracks and just do an example with the bass. So as you can see, there's all of the MIDI information on the timeline. And so now I'm going to go and hit the insert section. Then I'm going to multiple channel plugin. Then I hit instrument. Then I hit play AXX. And you're probably wondering, what in the world is that? And that's the composer cloud that I was talking about earlier. This is where I get all of my high quality instrument sounds. So there's the libraries that I decided to download, but there's way more to use. So yeah, so there I go, I hit the strings, then I go to bass, then I do the type of string sound that I want to use, and there. Alright, so I'm going to solo all of the tracks that I decided to add towards the end. If you remember when I showed you guys the video without the music, it was kind of like that slow motion dramatic scene, and I felt like the strings alone didn't really help it out, so I decided to add some chorus parts with a trumpet, flute, and timpani. It really gave it that very grand sound at the end, so I really liked how I could incorporate that, and I simply just used my MIDI controller and typed it and played what I wanted to be played, and that's what you hear. So yeah, so you're probably wondering how I actually put the tracks onto Pro Tools in the first place. So what I do is I go to track at the top, then I hit new. Then once I hit new, I decide what track I want. So I want to have a stereo track, then an instrument track, and I use samples, and then the track pops up, and that's how, I can edit the name if I want to. So I'm just gonna do this for this example, just add drums, and then I just do the same process that I did earlier. Go into multi-channel plugin, instrument, and then play AXX, which is just Composer Cloud, and there you go. There I go again, and then the process just repeats itself. So that's pretty much how I got those extra tracks onto the score. So I'm going to play the strings at the beginning to kind of show the difference between the strings that Sibelius had and then the strings that Composer Cloud had. And the difference is very, very evident. These strings sound very realistic, and I absolutely love them. Now, with this song, I didn't really do that much editing to the strings, but if you really want to have certain techniques done, I would suggest taking your time and going through the library to see what techniques that it provides and use those accordingly, so it can even sound more realistic. So yeah, that's how it sounds. Uh, so yeah, that's pretty much how the strings sound for this project. I'll show the rest when I'm done showing you guys the video software process that I go through. So once I'm done, and also taking account mixing and everything, I go to File at the top of the screen, then I go to Bounce, then I hit Disk, and this is how I get the audio file to put onto the film. So as you can see, there's different settings that you can do for the music, and then when I'm done, I hit Bounce, and that's how I get the audio file. Alright, so here is the video software. Here's everything together. As you can see, I put the music at the bottom. You could just go to your files and drag the file that you want onto the software. So I'm just going to play the beginning just to show you guys. Have you ever had a goal but was trapped in your thoughts and was too afraid to do it? I'm here to tell you that you got this. So you kind of see now how with the realistic sounds and everything, it just gives it a different feel. So yeah, I adjust the audio accordingly. I edit the video as needed, and then pretty much at that point I'm done. So then I go to Project at the top of the screen, then I select Make Movie, and then I choose what I want specifically for that movie, and then I'm done. So here's the finished product of You Got This. Have you ever had a goal but was trapped in your thoughts and was too afraid to do it? I'm here to tell you that you got this. Here's an athlete who's preparing for a race. Before she runs, she stretches and gets ready to put all of her training to use. The same way an athlete prepares for a race is the same way you should prepare for a goal. No matter if your goal is to get an A on a test or to become a successful music producer, you have to prepare for what's in store. You have to practice and plan ahead. Form your technique and master your skills. It may get frustrating at times, but I promise you, You have what it takes. Push through the adversity and the hardships. So when you get in your stance to run the race, you'll be ready. Now, it's your time to run and go finish that race. Run with all of your might. Don't look back. You got this. The only person that can stop you is yourself. Finish the race strong. Thank you for watching the film scoring workshop. If you would like to contact me, please contact me at my socials on the screen right here. Thank you for watching and have a great day.